ClickUp actually has two features that are very similar. However, they have their own use cases for being used within the workspace, and they are the tags and labels inside of ClickUp. Now in this video today, I'm going to walk you through what the differences are and share some example use cases of where you may want to apply these to your workspace. So if this is a question that you have had before, wondering should this be tagged or should we use labels, hopefully this video will answer those questions for you as you continue to build out your own ClickUp workspace. Before we dive in, my name is Nicola Melinda. I'm a verified ClickUp consultant and I work with businesses to help them to leverage the use of ClickUp so that they can scale and grow with ease. If you are enjoying the content in this channel, please do hit like and subscribe so that you can also be notified of new videos that are uploaded to the channel. So the biggest difference between the tags and the labels is, first of all, labels are actually custom fields inside of ClickUp, whereas tags are features that you will find on the actual task itself. With both of these, you can apply multiple selections to the task. However, they will just show up differently. Now, on the custom field side of things, the label field is pretty much a multiple choice option, which means that you can add multiple labels to that particular task. And the tags work very similarly. You can also have multiple tags applied to tasks as well inside of ClickUp. The difference is that with custom fields, they can be added all over the workspace, and you only really need to have one of each type of custom field. So if you had a custom field called services, for example, that custom field can follow the task throughout all the different spaces in your workspace. Tags are more space specific. So that means that any tag you create within a particular space, so if you create a tag within your client delivery space, that tag will only live within that client delivery area. Something also to note is that unlike custom fields, you can hide them, you can hide the columns so they don't have to show up in full view, but they still stay applied to the task. With tags, you can't actually hide them from view. So once you do apply a tag to a particular task, that tag will always be on show. Even if you're looking at from the all task level inside of ClickUp, it will still be showing on the task itself. So if you are applying multiple tags, it will always be applied and you will always be able to see those tags applied to that task. You cannot hide it yourself. The good thing with both of these features is that you can filter both of them for looking at custom views. You can group your tasks based on different tags or the labels. So you do have options to customize the data that you're seeing according to how you're using tags or using labels across your workspace. So they are really beneficial categorization tools, and it's really just a case of knowing the best way to put them to use. Okay, so the first use case is actually using tags to categorize your projects, and by that what I mean is ensuring that you know which projects are categorized against which client. So in this case you see that we are inside of a client folder and a project list, and we have a specific project, and applied to that is the name of our client. Now in this case, this is really beneficial from a higher level reporting perspective. And when we have tags applied to various clients, when we are managing multiple clients across multiple projects across multiple clients, it's a lot easier to understand who those projects are applied to. So if we have lots of website builds, we have marketing tasks perhaps for our clients, we can then tag who those projects are for. And so in this view, we've got all of our active projects. We've filtered, we've grouped as well. So we've filtered based on when a tag is set, and we've also filtered that the task type is a task. And then we've grouped these based on the tag. So we could see all of our clients. So I can see client 2, client 3, and I can see all of the projects that are applied to that particular client based on the tag that has been applied. Now, this can also go into further reporting in dashboards, and I can, if I wanted to, go down the route of tracking progress of these projects or the actual work for the projects. One thing you will notice is that we are not tagging the subtasks in this example, we're only tagging the actual main project. tasks. So we've got the parent task, which is the actual overall project, which we've tagged the client, and then we have all of the subtasks under that particular project, because those are the deliverables. We don't actually need to tag those as such. So another example, which you have seen earlier on in this video, and we'll go back to this, is inside of our client accounts. So we have a label field, which is called services. Now, before in the projects, I needed the tag to basically remain with that project task wherever it goes. With this services, I just want to apply different service options to this company. So these are our clients that have come into our business and they've worked with us maybe on one or two multiple projects and services. So we can actually start to apply these tags, because this will allow us to have data to know what clients are booking us for what services and how many services they are booking us for. So in this case, we've got a label field in place and we have all of the services listed. We can always add to it or remove any labels or rename them. But these are the labels that are applied, and then we can simply apply those. So if this project client now decides to come back on board as a consulting client, then I can put them as an active client, an active account, and then I can tag them or add a label to them with a consulting label, so that I know that this has been a project client, but they're also now a consulting client as well. Another example for using the labels inside of ClickUp could be for marketing purposes. So if you are managing your content planning inside of ClickUp and you mark it across various different channels, this again is another great way for you to manage how you are navigating that. And so you might also decide to use the custom field labels for the marketing platform that you choose to use. In this case, we have a couple of marketing tasks. We've got blog posts and a newsletter, and we might just say these are going to be shared. Perhaps we'd share our newsletter. We've got a LinkedIn newsletter and our email list as well. For our blog posts, we might just share that only on our website. However, if you're doing other posts, such as social media posts, and you want to share those across the likes of Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, then you can tag all of these platforms so that you know that those are the platforms that that post needs to be scheduled on in order to go out and do your marketing. So this is another use case of why I would use label fields over the tags. If I was to tag all of these with websites or LinkedIn, Instagram, could get very cluttered very quickly, and it's actually just not necessary to tag the task itself. It's better to keep that in a more clean custom field view, and I can always check back, because once the labels are applied to the task, it will always be a part of the task, even as a custom field. Now, the other side of things is when you are working on various deliverables within your projects, you may want to apply different tags that can help you to keep a track of progress and what you're doing with your tasks. So, for example, we've got a task here, proofread drafts. We might create a tag that can be used in this area. It could be for review. And so we might tag this once we are ready for this to be reviewed by a member of the team. Equally, there might be another tag that you would apply to discuss. And this could be a tag that you might use if you're preparing for upcoming team meetings, internal meetings. You might just want to tag the tasks that you actually need to talk about. And what you can do is you can also set up your views as well. So you could create a filtered view to help you to keep a track of the different tasks that you do need to keep an eye on. So you might call this view for discussion.
And instead of you having to remember what you need to do, what you can do is filter your tags, and we can filter this whether it's to discuss, and we can save that view. We'll separate out the subtasks because they are deliverables, but you can see there that in this section now we have what are the tasks that I will need to discuss in my meeting. So this is a way that you can use tags, and once you've had that meeting and you've discussed what you need to do, you can remove the tags, it will remove it from view, and you can carry on with your work that you need to be doing.
So as you might see that there's the option for you to add tags to a variety of tasks across your workspace. So what I would recommend is really sitting with your process first and understanding what the use cases would be behind the specific tags you would want to use and how you would want to use them, because it is very, very easy for you to start overusing tags. And this is something I've definitely seen in other workspaces. You can get into the habit of tagging absolutely everything, and in some cases is actually not needed. Just be careful of the overuse of tags in your workspace. When you do start to use tags as well, they can become cluttered very quickly. So again, think about how you can have some really quick purposeful use cases for applying tags to your task. Something I will also share is, because your tags are space specific, you do want to be careful to avoid duplication of your tags as well within your workspace. So if you are using the same tag across multiple teams, just be very mindful that you may have a duplication of those tags being applied across your tasks as well. This is where labels could be a better use case in that example, because you can apply your labels across the whole workspace as a custom field if it's needed to be applied to that task for whatever reason. And another point is that when you are using tags, especially if it's with your team and applying tags for various reasons, be careful that the use of the tags is not sporadic. So you want to ensure that this is a standardized way of working. So if you are tagging tasks, perhaps for items to discuss in meetings or for client projects, then just be sure that the team also are well aware of how we are applying tags, removing tags when they're no longer needed, who is responsible for that, and also ensuring that they are being used in the right way, just to avoid any confusion that could come up while you are working together. The whole purpose of using the tags is to be able to support a cohesive system together, that really good operational ecosystem. So if you don't have that best practice down and communicated with your team, again, it's an area that could become very messy very quickly. So just something to be aware of over time. So there's a really quick walkthrough, and hopefully that's given you some ideas of how you can start to apply the use of tags or labels across your workspace. But what I definitely would recommend is making sure that you do define the use cases for either of these features before you start to apply them to your ClickUp, just to avoid any sort of overwhelm and confusion as you start to use them more and more. And in some cases, you may not even need to use tags inside of ClickUp. You may find that it's more beneficial to use the labels and stick to that as a custom field. You can still use the label custom fields for high level reporting, filtering, grouping, in the same way that you can do that for tags as well. And also, as I mentioned before, if you are working with a team, be sure to document the use cases when you are applying tags, especially across your workspace, just so that your team are fully aware of how this process should be working and how they can continue to work a bit more seamlessly together inside of ClickUp. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this has been helpful. If you have enjoyed it, please do hit like and subscribe so that you do catch the next videos that are coming up on the channel, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.